Los verbos reflexivos. In this unit, we have a lot of reflexive verbs. A reflexive verb is identified by ending in se in the infinitive form. So for example, levantar se, quejar se. Those are all reflexives. When we see a reflexive verb with a reflexive pronoun at the end, we need to make sure that we include that pronoun when we conjugate our verb. When we conjugate reflexive verbs, the pronoun is going to come in front of the conjugated form. We can only place the pronoun on the end in three cases. If we have an infinitive, if we have a present participle, which is ando or iendo, or with positive commands, which we will talk about later on. Here's an example of the verb levantarse. We know it's reflexive because it ends in se. When we conjugate the verb, we give it a subject. In this case, we put the pronoun in front, me levanto, I get up. We want to make sure that our reflexive pronoun agrees with the subject of the sentence. Reflexive pronouns are not optional. They need to be included in each and every form of a reflexive verb. In the second example, you just want to make sure that if you use the infinitive of the verb in the formula voy a ducharme or voy a desayunarme, you want to make sure that you change the pronoun from se to me. If instead of voy, if it was vas, then you would have to say vas a ducharte y desayunarte. Again, your pronoun must always be in agreement with the subject of your sentence. Sometimes there are verbs that could be reflexive or non-reflexive. For example, the verb lavar. Lavar, la señora Ortiz lava su coche. She's washing her car, therefore it is not a reflexive verb. Whereas el señor Ortiz se lava las manos, that is reflexive because he's performing the action on himself. In the second example, levantar is not reflexive because it's lifting weights. Whereas in the second example of levantar, it's levantarse because it's me levanto a las 5. I'm waking myself up, or I'm getting up at 5. Again, you want to make sure that your pronoun is going to agree and that your action is going to reflect back on the subject. There are additional uses of reflexive verbs: change in physical, mental, or social condition, if you want to say you're getting or becoming with an emotion. Some verbs are just reflexive because they are, like quejarse, which means to complain. And finally, we have the reciprocal action, when we want to communicate each other or one another. Please note, in this case, we will only use the nos or the se with the nosotros form or the ustedes form of the verb.